Okay, first step of the business roadmaps approach is the business model canvas. It was developed by Alexander Osterwalder, and it presents the 9 building blocks of the company. And we like to work with economic models in the business roadmaps approach because they help us to zoom out of reality. Reality is complex, so we use the models to make it more simple and focus on the most essential parts of our business. And the business model canvas helps us to realize how is our company set up. 9 building blocks, and at large they describe what we deliver for whom, how do we create our product or service, and what is our revenue model. And at the right of the model are the customer segments. Really important, to whom do you want to deliver your product, or to who do you deliver your product. And we use several segments, and a segment is a group of customers that has similar characteristics. And how big should that group be? Don't know. It depends on how similar they are. And how do you know if you have a good customer segment? You should be able to formulate a persona of it. And a persona is a guy or a girl with characteristics that are representative of the customer segment we are talking about. So they should have average traits of the customer segment. If you cannot formulate a persona, then probably the customer segment is too big and too diverse. Then you have to make it smaller, make it more specific around several characteristics. If you have set up customer segments, we move over to the middle of the model, and there is the value proposition. And the value proposition, as the name says, describes the value the customer derives from your product or service. So not what your product does or how you created it, no, what value does the customer get from it. So it's always from the viewpoint of the customer. And we start formulating a general value proposition. And your company should have a logic umbrella above it. And all the activities should really logically fall under it. So you should be able to formulate a general value proposition. Are you not able to do so, then probably your company is not organized that efficiently. When you have formulated a general value proposition, you start formulating value propositions per customer segment. What is the specific value that specific customer segment derives from your product and service? And almost always you see that each customer segment has a different view of your product and has a different value that they get from it. So customer segments, value proposition, really important, and that takes a lot of work. It's most of the time goes into formulating customer segments in a value proposition. And then you have a value proposition, you have the customer segments. How do you connect those two? Those are the 2 blocks in between. It's the customer relationships. So what kind of relation do you have with your customer? Is that a one-time relation, a recurring relation, online, offline, and so forth? And the channels, how do you deliver your product to the customer? With a van, online, I don't know. And how does your customer know about your existence? So which channels do you use to communicate your existence to the customer? So social media, websites, and so forth. So that's the right-hand side of the model, and under the right-hand side of the model are the revenues. All those things you do on the right-hand side should deliver money, should deliver cash. And mention what categories of revenues that you have. No figures, just what are the categories of revenues I have. Then we move over to the left-hand side, and that tells us how do we produce our product or service. We look at key activities and key resources. Key activities are the most important activities that you do in your company, the key activities. So not everything you do, but just the most important. And so make some categories, for example, what do we do to produce our product, what are our entrepreneurship tasks, and so forth. And do the same with resources. What are the key resources that you have? It's a building, it's office automation, but it's also knowledge, personnel, employees. And which knowledge do they have? Write that down, but focus on the key resources. those two elements you have described how you produce your product, but you probably don't do everything yourself. You need partners. If you have partners, you are scalable. So write down in the left box of the business model who are your partners, and separate them in customer or partners that you pay for their service, and partners that you have a win-win relationship with. So a win-win means you don't only pay them, they also offer something. They put money in it, they put time in it, they offer resources like that. So make it like that and you will see how scalable your company is and if you can organize it more wisely. And all those things at the left-hand side of the business model will cost you money. So place categories of costs, fixed costs, variable costs, mention some specific categories, don't mention figures. And together the bottom of the model, the revenue model, consists of the costs and the revenues, and it should be linked with everything that's on top of the model. For example, a relationship. If you have a recurrent relationship, I would like to see in the revenue block that you also have recurring revenues. Because if you say I have a recurring relationship, but you only sell one product at a time, yeah, that doesn't match with each other. So recurring relationships should, for example, mean that you all have a subscription revenue model. And like this we built the business model. Business model is never finished. It's always in kind of a draft situation because situation is always changing. So you should always use your business model to look at your company. How is it at the moment? How will it evolve? And adjust the model accordingly. And this is the first step of the roadmaps approach.